Why are we panicking about welfare cuts now, but we didn't panic when our wealth was quietly stolen already? The Labour government's proposed welfare reforms are sparking outrage, causing a U-turn, and understandably so. Cuts to support system always hit the most vulnerable first. But here is the uncomfortable truth. We've already lived through one of the biggest welfare cuts in modern history. Hardly anyone noticed. It didn't come in the form of a headline or a budget bill. It came silently through quantitative easing and mass money printing during and after the so-called COVID crisis. Between 2020 and 2022, the UK M2 money supply expanded by over 20%. But we didn't get 20% more food or homes or energy, just 20% more pounds chasing the same amount of goods and services. That new money didn't magically create more stuff. It simply devalued the pounds already in your pocket. These notes buy less and less. If your benefits or pension got cut by 30% and prices stayed the same, it would be no different in terms of what you can buy with inflated prices. Do you get it? If your cost of living jumped by 30% but your benefits didn't, that's exactly the same as a 30% cut to your income. Just no one told you, no fuss, no protests, nothing. Inflation at its core is a tax. It takes a tiny portion of the purchasing power of every pound in existence and gives it to the government. A wealth transfer to them. But inflation isn't just any tax, it's a regressive tax, hitting the poor the hardest. When inflation soars, it's not the wealthy who struggle to heat their homes or feed their children. It's the low-income earners, the disabled, the elderly on fixed pensions, the very people who rely on welfare. Inflation is not equal. It hits the poor the hardest, every time. Why? Because low-income households spend a much higher proportion of their income on essentials, food, energy and rent. At this stage have almost absorbed all of their income. But the wealthy, well, they own assets that rise with inflation, houses, stock, lands. So while you're counting your pennies at the checkout, they're watching their portfolios grow. So let's be honest. Many of the same people outraged by the proposed welfare changes already lost 30 to 40% of their real purchasing power since 2020. But because it wasn't announced on the 6 o'clock news as a cut, it went unchallenged. Look at the double standards. So when governments inflate away your benefits, silence. But when the proposed reform comes in public, there's outrage. One is a theft by stealth. The other one, it just stirs, to be honest. Why is theft by stealth more acceptable than direct policy change? The real debate shouldn't be about the current cuts. It should be about the cumulative loss of support, dignity and purchasing power that has already happened. If we're going to be outraged, let's direct it to where it belongs and equally at the central banks devaluing the currency, governments that hid real-term cuts behind inflation and policies that shift the burden of economic chaos onto those least able to carry it. Inflation is the cruelest cut of all. It just doesn't come with a vote.